Hi everyone, my name is Diana.
And I'm Bo.
And we are with the Contemporary Austin. We are a art museum here in Austin, Texas, and we show contemporary art. You may be wondering what contemporary art is. Contemporary art means art that's being created by artists who are still alive. And so if you were to visit our location here at Laguna, you would see all the art on view is being created by artists who are actively making art today. And today we're also going to be learning about art, more specifically about a very important element in art known as line. Line is very important in art because you can see lines in all different types of sculptures and paintings, and not only in art but also in the world around you. Maybe in a house, a building, a street, or if you look on your hands you can see different types of lines.
Yeah, curvy lines, straight lines. I was even thinking about our clothes, how I have like a lot of straight lines going in different directions.
Yeah.
And you have curvier lines because it's like a knit thing. Yeah.
We have curly hair, that's a type of line. And so today we're going to also be discussing the different types of lines that you can create. And so in our handy dandy whiteboard, we're going to show some examples about different types of lines.
Let's brainstorm.
So first, a line can go from left to right or side to side, or it can go up to down, and it can also go at a diagonal shape. So that's like three basic forms of lines. But we can take this a step further. Lines can also overlap. There's an X shape right there. Or it can overlap like this, like a plus sign. Or, let's see, these lines are pretty straight, but do you think lines can be curvy?
I think so. We were talking about our curly hair line, so maybe a wavy line.
Yeah. Let's see. We wanted to draw curly hair. It would have some loop-de-loop shapes like this. Or, let's see, like an ocean wave. That's a type of line.
I've even heard of someone's mention a castle line. Have you heard of a castle line? Like the top of the castle?
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah, there's that kind. Or that even reminds me of a mountain. But a castle line is kind of like this.
Oh.
Also kind of like teeth.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like
really
the top
cool.
of like a brick castle or a stone castle.
This looks like a crown.
It does look like a crown.
And lines can also turn from one specific shape into another, a straight line or a zigzag. So that's a very unique line. So they don't always have to look, like a straight line. They can have all different types of shapes. They can be really unique. So the only limit is your imagination. So create as many lines in different types of forms that you'd like. And so for today's lesson, we are actually going to be creating our own lines on a sheet of paper. And we are also, part of the other materials that we have are a foam block and a very special material known as wiki sticks. And these are made of a wax material, and you can actually bend them. If you wrap them around your finger, you can see they keep that shape. And you can also crisscross them and they stick onto each other. Okay.
They kind of look like candy.
Yeah, they kind of remind me of like sugary sour candy, ones you get at the movie theater.
Sour ropes.
Okay. And you also have a pencil or just a writing utensil. So on your paper, we are going to be drawing different types of lines.
How many lines should we draw?
I think starting off, 5 lines is good. So use the lines that we've created as inspiration.
Or come up with your own. What is your favorite kind of line? Do you have a favorite kind of line?
I really like this ocean wave because the ocean makes me feel calm.
I agree.
So I think I will draw another ocean wave on here. maybe a loop-de-loop shape since I have curly hair.
Kind of like this crown mountain-like shape. I like that the two on the side are a little smaller than the one in the middle of the peak. So these are my 5 lines.
And these are mine right here. So there's a lot of similarities in our lines.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Okay. So now that everyone's ready, we will take a look at our wiki sticks, familiarize yourself with it again, and we are actually going to take advantage of the fact that it's sticky, and we are going to stick it onto our paper. But we're actually going to use it to trace along our lines. I'm going to hold up the paper so it's a little easier to see. You can press it on, or you can do this on a flat surface. But I'm holding it up so that way it's a little easier to see. And you can start tracing along your lines.
What happens if my wiki stick is too short?
That's okay. The great part about wiki sticks is that they stick together. So if you want to make a longer wiki stick, you can kind of press firmly and it sticks onto each other.
That's
so now I have
awesome. You have a super long one now.
So now if you have a really long line, you can use the long wiki stick.
Cool. Speaking of line and this yellow wiki stick, thinking about pasta now. Maybe I'm just hungry.
Yeah.
But this kind of looks like pasta. And also I think about pasta, just the shape of pasta comes in so many different, uses so many different lines. So like spaghetti is a really straight line, but then there are like the curly noodles that have a curvy line. Yeah, or even like orchetti. I might be saying that wrong. But anyway, it's kind of like a shell shape. It's like a circular line. It's kind of like a little shell.
I'm hungry now.
Me too. I want some pasta.
So now it should look something like this. And you're going to carefully lift it up. Maybe you can use the tips of your fingernails to unpeel that. And here's your shape. And if you want to compare it next to your 2D version, here it is. And you may be thinking 2D. So 2D would mean flat. So since these drawings are flat on the table, we can't really like walk around them or look at anything like behind it. There's nothing. So once it goes from this form to this form, now we can kind of like turn it in different angles. You know, if I hold it like this, it looks different, but if I hold it like this, or maybe like this, so it's really cool.
So just popping it off the page makes it a 3D line now, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so now the next step is going to be taking your block. This is a foam block, so it's really easy to poke some holes into it. So if you have your pencil, just be careful with this part. You're gonna poke a hole where you want your line to start. So I poked a hole right here, and I'm going to place one end of the wiki stick in there, and it's going to be very secure. And now I'm going to start thinking about where I want the other hole to be. So our line doesn't have to necessarily stay in a straight kind of way, like the same way when you peeled it off the paper. You can actually start to bend it.
I like that idea.
So that way it has a different shape to it.
And I notice even just pressing, I put the end of mine in one side, but the other end is pointing up, so I'm just pressing and it's sticking to the top of my block too. So I don't have to poke a hole for every little piece that touches. It also will just stick.
That's a great
like that
thing about wiki sticks.
So reminds me of teeth.
So now that we have that ready, we are going to move on to the next line, and you can pick any color you'd like. You can move on to any of the lines that you're most excited about. I'm going to do the ocean, and I picked the color blue. I did that on accident. but I guess I'm just thinking about water and just want just to have the same blue color.
I also picked blue, and I'm doing my crown one, but it's actually, when it's in blue, it reminds me of a mountain instead of a crown. More, it reminds me more of a mountain than it did a crown.
Okay. Here's that one. And then now that we have 2 lines with our wiki sticks, you can kind of start thinking about how you want these to overlap, similar to how we described how lines can overlap like this. These can overlap as well, and since they're sticky, you can stick these on each other like that.
If I wanted them to go side by side, could I also do that?
Yeah, of course. I think that would look really cool. Okay, so that's how mine is looking like. And then as you turn it, you can see some really cool different angles. Okay. Now I will be moving on to my next line. I picked yellow. To be standing up on its own, which I think looks really cool. Okay. Wow.
They made all really long lines, so they are kind of creating a similar curvy, but they all look a little different.
I like how you connected the red and the purple together.
Yeah, I didn't have more purple, but I thought red was close, and I thought that it looked pretty together, these 2 colors.
Okay. Which color? I think I'm gonna use green.
Me too. I'm doing my zigzag line. Which line are you doing?
I'm doing one that's more like an angular shape, so it's kind of like a square, but without this side.
Almost like an open box.
So that's what this shape's looking like. And
mine is starting to look a little bit like a rainbow exploded out. I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And
we have 1 more.
I made mine. I decided to put it through this little loop-de-loop hole, which I thought was interesting. So we are down to our last line. I'm going to use red.
This one looks like, the color of it looks like it might glow in the dark. I wonder if it does. You have this color, test it out at home. You'll know it when you see it. Wow. And I love that this block is so light that I can just turn it and see all the different angles that my lines have created, or all the different viewpoints, and see my lines from different angles.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that you're doing like the blizzard test.
Yeah, you can hold it in different ways and see it from different perspectives. Okay. And so I know we've done 5 lines, but you should have more wiki sticks with you in your kit. And so start thinking about what other lines you haven't created yet on your paper, and then think about how you can start adding those to your sculpture. Any other questions, Bo, about lines or any of the materials that we used today?
No, I just think it's so cool that we were able to transform our flat drawings into a 3D sculpture. And you know what? It even goes, it's getting me thinking on like what else I could draw and I could trace with wiki sticks. Like maybe if I drew a little person, could I trace them with wiki sticks and pop them up and make them walk? Like that could be really cool.
Yeah.
Wiki sticks are so much fun. And so I'm hoping that you guys get to do some cool stuff with it too.
I think Thank you so much for joining us today with this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Goodbye.